Ladies and gentlemen, the program is about to begin. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones and other communication devices. Please note the taking of photographs and the use of recording equipment is strictly prohibited. We would also like to inform you that food and beverages are never permitted in the Times Center auditorium. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Olson Day of the New York Times, and I am delighted to welcome you to this evening's Times Talks, live here at the Times Center in New York and live around the world on the web. Tonight, we are so pleased to have on our stage the Academy Award-winning director and the cast of the important new documentary film, Wretches and Jabberers. Joining them is the president and CEO of the Autism Society, with which the film is partnering. It's part of the Society's call to action for the full inclusion of adults with autism in their communities. And we are excited to have them here to kick off the commemoration of National Autism Awareness Month, which starts in just a few days. I'll leave it to our guests to tell us more about the film, but I just want to let you know that it's going to have a 40-city, and I just heard even more cities added on, screening schedule in AMC theaters throughout the country, starting here this Friday at the AMC Empire 25 in Manhattan. Before we meet our guests, I am pleased to tell you a little about our moderator. Last week, we heard the great news that he was named the new deputy science editor in charge of Science Times, which is one of the most popular sections of the paper and online. He joined the science desk in 2001, and it's been by far his longest stint in any job here since he came to the National Copy Desk 22 years ago. He's also been deputy editor of Op-Ed and education editor. He moved to Science Times in 2007, editing the health pages. And he originated and still anchors the weekly Science Times podcast. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, New York Times Deputy Science Editor David Corcoran, and our very special guests, Lee Grossman, Harvey Lavoie, Tracy Thresher, Pascal Chang, Larry Bissonette, and Geraldine Wurtzberg.
Hello, everybody. So I take it nobody in the room has seen this movie, right? It hasn't opened yet, Wretches and Jabberers, right? Show of hands. No, I can't see anyone anyway, but it sounds like a couple of you have. Well, I'm just going to drop my my pose of journalistic objectivity and say to you that this is an amazing movie and really worth seeing. We will show you some clips from the movie, and I would like to get started, if we can, with the first clip, which is just the opening of the movie, and we'll give you a little of the backstory.
Great
One more
smile.
time with feeling.
Tracy, you're the man. Okay, hold on now. Hold on now. Good. Get a little closer for me, guys. Get a little closer. Good. Good. You guys are doing great. Perfect.
Can you put your arm around Larry?
Good.
And Tracy Preston from Berry, Vermont.
My name is Larry Bissonette.
I heard that you traveled around the world, but what is the purpose of this world tour you're doing?
To people knowledge, disability, to possibly praise.
Geraldine Würzburg, who is the director of this movie, is at the far end there. The first thing I'd like to ask you, Jerry, is just a little trade question. I love that shift from black and white. Suddenly, it's Tracy's face suddenly bursts into color, and that's kind of a forerunner of the magic that you'll see in this movie. How do you do that?
Well, you do it by having a good group of people that you work with. I have a really talented graphic designer that I work with, Carol Hilliard, and I wanted a certain look in the beginning. We needed to do to set the audience up because there's a lot of background to this. So we did it in black and white, and then I really wanted to let people know that the journey was beginning, and so I wanted it to kind of kick into life and have the color come in. So it was really just a question of frame by frame, then adding the color. It's a kind of an arduous process, but I'm glad you noticed it.
How did this movie come to be? How did it come to you?
The movie really was an evolution. My fellow producer, Doug Bicklin, who is here, this is not the first film we've made together. So we've done a film called Autism is a World that was nominated for an Academy Award in '05. And Doug had been doing a lot of research over the years looking at communication by typing throughout the world. And we were at a conference, and these fellows were presenting, the Vermonters as we call them, and they were presenting to an audience of 300 people. They were projecting what they typed above them the way you see today, and they were riffing. They were riffing by typing. And it was just very, very funny. They talked about how, well, we really want to take they've been presenting around the US for a number of years, but they really wanted to take their show bigger. They wanted to be like a rock band. They wanted T-shirts and hats and the whole thing, but they weren't going to destroy their communication devices at the end like certain famous artists have done. And so it was at that moment, I was sitting behind Doug, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, Doug, this is it. So then it was, I got together with them and said, can we get together, and went to Vermont and met with each of them alone and then together and started talking about what they thought should be in the film, and it really evolved there. And we do have T-shirts. We don't have hats. So am I. So.
Larry, I see you're ready to go there. I would like to ask you about your earlier years, if that would be all right. When you were growing up, when you were a boy, the term autism wasn't really on people's radar screens. They really could have used an Autism Awareness Month, but they didn't have one. Could you describe how your family and the schools you went to, how they responded to you?
Needed more care. Then my parents
Parents. Parents.
could give so placed
Place.
I was in an institution and now isn't
Easy.
it ironic that I
Pha hotel. Pha hotel. Later.
am
Nói quá. Hotel nói quá. Yeah.
talking to you are such a news institution. I needed chairs and my parents to be so placed. I was in an institution, and now isn't it ironic that I'm talking to you as such a news institution?
That's very well said. And as the evening goes on, you will see more examples of that kind of irony, the sense of irony and humor and eloquence in this movie. I'd like to ask Harvey and Pascal, who work with Larry and Tracy, and Tracy, maybe you could jump in as well. How did you learn that you could communicate by typing?
I
was lucky to be
Good sense of humor.
part a project that introduced me to typing. I learned. I could express myself with support. I was lucky to be part of a project that introduced me to typing. I learned I could express myself with support. Always. Knew. I could read read but I couldn't show it. I was lucky to be part of a project that introduced me to typing. I learned I could express myself with support. I always knew I could read, but I couldn't show it.
Last week, Tracy did a presentation at the high school where he went, and that's about it. He was kept in a room all day, never educated, sat doing puzzles all day. And last week, he went back and he featured 2 of the students who are high school students that he mentors that type and are in full academic programs. So times are changing.
I'd like to ask Lee Grossman, the head of the Autism Society, and Douglas Bicklin, you're here, right? He's the co-producer and also a professor of at Syracuse, right? Of
Yeah.
Dean of Education at
Dean.
Syracuse. How many people with autism? We know that autism is in part a communications disorder. How many people with autism can communicate in this way?
Nobody really knows. There are, certainly, hundreds have learned this, but not everybody has achieved the levels of independence that both Tracy and Larry have, but that's obviously the goal. Roughly half of all the people with the label autism would have communication difficulties, and so could benefit by the presumption that they are competent, therefore putting the burden on us to figure out how we might get to see that.
Yeah, and I think that we have to realize that every person with autism can communicate. If they have a behavior, that's communication. If the way that they're acting, those are their means of communication. And we have to be more responsive to what it is that they're trying to tell us, particularly those people that cannot speak, as well as those that do have some limited verbal capabilities. What you see here with Larry and Tracy is perhaps not the exception. Most people with autism aren't exposed to this type of technology. That's one aspect of it, nor are the professional capability available in the United States to interact at the level that Larry and Tracy have received so that they can find other means to communicate to us and to understand exactly what they're saying. So that's the issues that we're facing today in the United States, is how to make this type of technology, how to get this professional capability available to every person that's affected by autism.
And the other thing is that they're sitting here. These are everyday computers. Tracy has a keyboard because for his accuracy, he needs that. It's got little holes around so that he knows that he's hitting the exact letter. But when we started making the film, the iPad hadn't emerged. Since we started the film, the iPad has emerged, and that is really transforming things. I mean, it's a skill to learn how to isolate the finger and do that sort of thing. But it means that you've got something that's a very affordable technology relative to some of the devices that they were communicating in the film with. So tonight at dinner, the conversations at dinner were with the iPad. When we go out to eat, in Houston to get some barbecue, it's with iPads. So that's really accelerating things we've seen as we've been out on the road touring. There are a lot of young people out with iPads.
Pascal.
I just wanted to pick up on what Tracy just said, but I couldn't show it. And it's still probably true that many people can't necessarily show it. But one of the things that we have to do is realize that people do, even if they can't speak, they have an inner world, they have an inner life, they have thoughts and ideas. And it's up to us, I think as Doug said, it's the burden on us is to give them a way to get those out. But even if they're not actually doing it, we still have to believe that they have thoughts and ideas that just aren't expressed. Because oftentimes people are thought to not have thoughts and ideas if they can't communicate.
I'd like to move to our second clip. As Jerry told you, this is a world tour, like a rock band. And this clip is early in the movie, and it is Tracy and Larry and Harvey and Pascal are at a shrine, a Buddhist shrine, am I right, in Sri Lanka. So if we could look at that.
Please pick my shoe, sock up, Larry from poor long history of low barefoot tolerance. You said it, low barefoot tolerance.
Man, you're happy.
You're happy now, you're a happy guy now.
Larry, I wish you could have relaxed and enjoyed yourself.
Slapper.
Sluggish. Larry is worrier, Tracy. sorry, would listen better if my lasering in on kid-like sleppish stuff
Shoot!
didn't get just worrywart in me.
Shoot!
Wait. Honest. Wait.
Understand. S. God. L. R.
Shoot!
Slow, take your time.
L. I. T. Y.
Gray, red, yellow.
You're going too fast. I know you're trying not to, and it's taking off on you. It's okay. It's all right.
Bird feet.
Bare feet.
Really?
Bird feet. Summer.
Summer, yep.
O. I.
Deal. On.
It's from here! It's from here!
Let me try that. Did you try that word? Ready? Let's go.
Jerry Wurzburg, you filmed this in Sri Lanka. Wasn't there a civil war going on?
Yeah, there are a few things going on. Yeah, there was a civil war going on, and the week before we arrived, there had been a Tamil bombing in town. So there was, we had to pretty carefully plan everything. But this scene is interesting because what had happened was in planning what we wanted to do in the different countries, there were people that Larry and Tracy were visiting and meeting with. But also, Tracy was very much on a spiritual quest that goes on throughout the film. He was very interested in Buddhism, wanted to meet a Buddhist monk. So in Sri Lanka, we couldn't find a Buddhist monk who would meet with him, but we could go to this very revered temple in Sri Lanka. And so this was the day that we did that. And when we arrived, we hadn't kind of thought about the whole issue of you have to take your shoes and socks off. And for Larry, that was kind of a sensitive thing. So everything changed, and we left. But Larry and Tracy said, Jerry, we really want you to film us talking about what just happened. And I think it's a very important scene because it also shows the sense of empathy and compassion that people, when they define autism, say people with autism do not have. But those definitions are written by people who don't have autism. So I think Larry and Tracy pretty much nail it.
Yeah, I was struck by the level of empathy and also the level of frustration, and they both Tracy and Larry in that scene really speak to that the profound frustration that they have to deal with. How did the two of you become friends?
More. Top. Loaded. Time. opportunity,
spent, together,
mopping,
doing,
up,
workshops, and
audiences, old,
spending,
beliefs,
time,
about,
together,
autism,
traveling, eating,
kept
burgers, and
us,
drinking, beer,
crossing,
well, Larry,
path,
drank,
and
beer, pie, a,
doing,
soda, men, with,
McDonald's,
occasional, rum, added, we, hoped,
these kings,
same, hopes, and
together,
bonded,
has,
our,
linked, us,
friendship, more top-loaded time spent together doing workshops and spending time together traveling, eating burgers and drinking beer. Well, Larry drank beer, I am a soda man with occasional rum added. We hoped
Life.
the same hopes and bonded our friendship.
Yeah, that's
More top-loaded
friendship.
time spent together doing workshops and spending time.
our,
That's also another technological blip there. But the F for some reason is not working on the keyboard today, so it's temperamental.
The F key isn't working. Sometimes
Other few things
So-
be grateful for that.
I just want you to know
Certain
that
audience would
some
want
people
to
had
do that.
hamburgers tonight for dinner before the start, but we did not have any beer. Well, no, actually, you did have a beer.
Yes, he did.
It was a light. Right, right. But I noticed our green room is well provided for, so afterwards. I didn't see any beer though, Larry.
Perfect. Cheeseburger. Opportunities mopping up audiences' ill beliefs about autism kept us crossing paths and doing McDonald's tastings together has linked us for life in our search for the perfect cheeseburger.
Good job.
Well, you've come to the right city, if not the right news institution. I want to show another clip now, and this is about Larry. And after Larry, after we watch it, I'd kind of like you to talk about what you are expressing with your art. So if we could see that clip now.
Hey, got it. Hey, all finished.
That's a beautiful scene. And Larry, can you talk about what you're expressing there? First of all, who are the pictures of?
Well, Larry starts that his painting studio is in Burlington. And as you can see, there are quite a few paintings. And I came back from the trip to Sri Lanka, and Larry painted a picture with my photograph in it, which was a great honor. And then the editor bought it from him, gave it to me. So I have one of these in my home.
Might be called an outsider. Artist. Giving me cash in the art world. But I really pained from the inside. Intuitions that I feel in my world as an autistic person making art to meet images with feelings. Potentially, I might be called an outsider artist, giving me cash in the art world, but I really paint from the inside intuitions that I feel in my world. As an artistic person making art to meet images with feelings.
I'd like to, I know we want to give you in the audience a chance to ask questions. We have 2 more clips to watch. This next one stars Tracy Thresher. And I'd like, once we've watched it, I would like to ask him about what he is going through in this part of the movie. So could we show that?
Tracy, yesterday we had breakfast with Larry and his sister. He lives at her house. Tell us about your living situation.
Let's go see if Dottie's home. Her car's here. Oh, nice room, Tracy.
To turn the TV on, remember you need the black one. That controls the satellite on the end.
Mr. Thresher, I need to go now. I gotta go home. All right, so I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
day. Okay.
Okay.
See you later, Dottie.
Bye.
Nice room, Trace.
Finding. Place. I have no permanent place to live. It really sucks, and I have no hope of finding a place to hang my hat.
Hang my hat.
So, Tracy, why don't you have a place to hang your hat? What is the situation?
Well, getting my own place requires someone with skills as a communication partner and ultimate that has been impossible to get in place there have been many attempts, but all had their own mental health issues. I am slightly joking, but not too much. But with time and patience, I will rind the right persons. Well, getting my own place requires someone with skills as a communication partner, and Autism it that has been impossible to get in place. There have been many attempts, but all had their own mental health issues. I am slightly joking, but not too much. But with time and patience, I will find the right persons.
What, yeah. One of the things when we were making the film, I kind of thought that the arc to the end was going to be that, Tracy, that you were going to find a place and we would be emailing with each other all the time. He said, oh yeah, we placed another ad and there's someone who looks hopeful and it's a nice situation, no children, no dogs, and it's a quiet place, and then it would fall through. So it was a very, very difficult process. But you know, we kept traveling and doing all these trips. And so I said to Tracy at one point, I think it was in an email, I said, you know, how do you keep going? I mean, if you can imagine coming back from each of these trips and no place to hang your hat and changing every few days. And Tracy said, you know, it's the film. You know, so the work that we're doing is what's keeping me going. But it is now, he's only going between 2 places in a week. The crisis center has been kind of eliminated, but it's not resolved.
One last clip, and for me, this clip, which occurs near the end of the movie, is really the kind of the emotional and content center of the movie. Dr. Bicklin, I'm going to want to ask you a question after we see this clip, so if somebody could get a microphone in place. Let's show it now.
Okay, Henna's ready. Minusta on kiva tavata vieraita Amerikasta. Minä olen odottanut teitä tänne.
Don't touch that voice again.
So we want to have time for questions from the audience. And I just want to ask Mr. Grossman from the Autism Society and Dr. Bicklin, I'm going to just read, if I can find it here, an excerpt from the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. This is their diagnostic, this is the criteria that are used by medical professionals to define autism. So part of the definition is a lack of spontaneous seeking to share enjoyment, interests, or achievements with other people, a lack of social or emotional reciprocity, and qualitative impairments in communication. When you see this movie, you know you're looking at two men with autism, but Dr. Bicklin, is this going to change the way people think about autism?
No, actually, since about 1986, Temple Grandin wrote her first book, Emerging from Autism. And in that book, you see a person breaking through, and she talks about her, how she perceives other people. Lots of us have been, quite a number of researchers have been writing about a different vision of autism. But really, unless people can see it firsthand, I don't think we have the kind of impact that is necessary. And so, the notion, my notion and my desire to make films is so that Larry and Tracy can break through, and all the other people in the film, and really speak to society about who they are and how they experience the world. And I think these autobiographical accounts of experiencing the world will dramatically change how people think about autism. I think this film, has the potential to have that effect.
Mr. Grossman, before we went on this evening, you talked to me a little bit about working with employers.
Right.
And the challenges in placing people with autism in jobs. You want to tell us a little about that?
Well, as you read from the DSM classification, this lack of giving back the feedback and having the social connection is what is defining autism, and certainly it exists. We as a community have to assume competence. I have yet to meet a person with autism that wasn't caring, that wasn't loving, that wasn't able to feel all the emotions that any one of us would have. And they just may not be able to express it. And that's the same thing when we get into employment, is that it doesn't mean that if somebody, that if they're having difficulty in the environment that they're in, that they're not capable of doing the work that is there. We can gainfully employ people with autism, and it can be done successfully. And there are tremendous models throughout the U.S. that show that people that seemingly are very impaired can hold quite competitive and productive employment, and therefore not be wards of the state and earning an honest living. I'm not sure if she's here, but I invited Eustacia Cutler to come tonight. Hey, there she is. Eustacia, if you could stand up, please, if you don't mind. I'm glad that you made it. Eustacia is Temple Grandin's mother. And she's a dear friend to not only me, but to the rest of the autism community. She has taught me, perhaps more than anybody, that not only is autism a whole body condition because of the medical ramifications that are associated with autism, but it's a whole family condition. And we could probably say it's a whole community condition now because of how it affects all of us in the community. And how we, and what this film is bringing to our attention, is that there is competency there and that we have to just be more, to recognize it and to be more understanding so that these people can have as great an opportunity that exists for those that don't have autism.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight to the Times and talking about this movie. I'm guessing that some people in the audience may have some questions. There are microphones in each aisle, so just step up to a microphone and fire away.
While you're going up to the microphone, the film also has an amazing music track that was done by Josh Ralph, the composer Josh Ralph. And not only did he compose the music, but then he got so inspired by Larry and Tracy and by their words and other people's words in the film that he then started writing songs. And then he got a wonderful group of musicians, including Nora Jones, Ben Harper, Stephen Sills involved, and recorded an original soundtrack. But he's here, I think. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so there's also the music in there is really great. Thanks, Josh.
Hi, my name is Erica Dresner. I'm the mom of an autistic 6-year-old. And this question is for Tracy and for Larry. I understand that we've been saying people with autism, people who have autism. And I know there's some debate. I've heard from autistic adults who speak that saying people with autism is like my saying I have femaleness, right? As opposed to just saying I'm a woman. The point being that autism is so integral a part of the self that it's more appropriate to say I'm autistic. I also sensed in the Sri Lankan scene that there was some sort of sense of my autism being something separate from me that I'm struggling with. So I was just wondering what your experience of autism is, how central.
Looks.
Thanks.
Persons. Well, getting my.
Possibly.
Yes. Hi. Really.
Deceive.
Think.
We.
Were.
Are.
Think.
Actually.
That. I. Was. Autistic.
Labeled. As.
Until.
Goofy.
Typing.
Stars.
Don't get too serious.
Now.
Once.
That's a phenomenal answer.
Hi.
That's a great answer.
So.
Started. Typing.
Pure.
I. Was.
Sun.
Tracy.
Is
The.
a.
Tipper. Who.
poet
could let you know my
painter
thoughts that
athlete
changed
or
how I think
reality TV
about missile
addict
let
but
Larry the movie star
whatever
deal you
is
world
his
or Larry, yes, I really think that I was autistic until typing, and once I started typing, I was Tracy the tipper who could let you know my thoughts that changed how I think about missile. Let's let Larry the movie star deal you world, Larry.
should define him. Looks possibly deceived. We are actually related as movie stars now, so your son is a poet, painter, athlete, a reality TV addict, but whatever is his passion, that should define him.
Sir.
Hi, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Craig, and I have an 18-year-old autistic son. And I'm curious, this is for Terry and Larry. Can you recall roughly how old you were when you realized you had difficulty in communicating with people, and how it made you feel?
That was going way
Ben
back to my earliest memories
operating
as a young boy. I
principal
knew I was
since a
not like other
baby
kids. It
that
made me angry
crying
and I
gets you
withdrew. I
food
had
but
many tantrums
letters
as a
give
result not
voice
being able to show
ideas and
understood was a jail
thoughts
sentence that was going way back to my earliest memories as a young boy. I knew I was not like other kids. It made me angry and I withdrew. I had many tantrums as a result. Not being able to show I understood was a jail sentence.
something that only came for me as an adult. It's been my operating principle since a baby that crying gets you food, but letters give voice to ideas and thoughts that you have something that only came from me as an adult.
Yes, ma'am.
Larry and Tracy, I want to thank you for leading the way for people like my son, who is 23, plays ice hockey, which is his passion, and has autism. I don't think he would take any advice on his ice hockey skills from you, but I know this. He has been typing for many, many years and really battling and trying to gain independence. And it's just now in his 20s that he's getting some independence with typing. And we're all so delighted and proud. And I wondered if you had any technical, emotional, or any other kind of advice for him on how to continue gaining the kind of independence you have.
Well,
Larry,
the good
Pops, out,
support the
letters,
support
like,
person gives is
turtle,
totally
and Tracy,
related to
is a
typing on one's
speaking
own with greatly
Gonzalez,
knowledgeable
potentially
support emotional
finding
words
your least
encouragement and lots or practice
two
he will gain
accuracy base
independence
is
you could get me an
countering
RV to
the
work with
need
you to
for
more
support
technical
and
assistance
Larry
might help. Well, the good support the support person gives is totally related to typing on one's own with greatly knowledgeable support, emotional words, encouragement, and lots practice. He will gain independence. You could get me and Harvey to work with you. Two more technical assistance might help.
2. Save my life. Larry pops out letters like a turtle, and Tracy is a Speedy Gonzales, potentially finding your least disruptive. 2 accuracy pace is countering the need for support, and Larry's boulder can't skate to save my life.
Really good.
Okay, we have time for a couple more questions, sir.
My name is Joshua Skolnick, and besides having a nephew who has Asperger's syndrome, my career has been spent helping people with disabilities to carve out a life for themselves of their own choosing. My question has to do with facilitated communication as a whole, because the way you're typing at least gives the appearance of pretty straightforward facilitated communication, and I've wondered, as you go around and you do presentations, if you've seen a positive outgrowth, because at least historically, it has been pretty controversial depending on who's doing it. So, and if anybody on the, either you, Larry, or Tracy, or the people who support you were trained at Syracuse's Facilitated Communication Center.
With the training and
Lip service.
support
2.
we have
Our
gotten and lots of
intelligence.
hard
2.
work
Find
work
issue
we
with
type our own words do you
facilitated
really think Pascal could be so communication witty with the training and support we have gotten and lots hard work we type our own words. Do you really think Pascal could be so witty? People's learning to communicate. Starts with a massive paradigm shift in how people who don't speak are seen in our society is a service to our intelligence to find issue with facilitated communication because people's learning to communicate starts with a massive paradigm shift in how people who don't speak are seen in our society.
Over here.
My name is Ariella, and I'm 13 years old, and I was wondering what inspired Tracy and Larry to begin spreading what life was like to live with autism and what began your journey.
Great question. Can you repeat that?
Could you say it again?
What inspired you guys to start presenting your life through these speeches and talks.
Aim
Larry,
to
is
the heart
likely more
with
a
me. It's my true
person
purpose
who
I have been
goes
molded to do
along
this by God
with
and here
the
I am telling
flow
my
of
story with
life
partner in
but
crime. Larry
only
eating burgers
about
burgers on
open
the way and
Magnus
walking the
for
red
right
carpet. You aim to the heart with me, it's my true purpose. I have been molded to do this by God, and here I am telling my story with partner in crime Larry, eating burgers on the way and walking the red carpet.
have gotten me off big you no What? 2. Go. 1. Let a man like. Crusade. 2. Change. Attitudes. But not our. Diets. Larry's likely more a person who goes along with the flow of life, but only about open-mindedness for rights. Tracy could have gotten me off big you-know-what to go on Let a Man Like crusade to change attitudes, but not our diets.
Yes, sir.
Jerry Wurtzberg, Nat Benchley.
Oh, hello.
Your Academy Award-winning film was about a young man named Peter who was also challenged. Do you happen to know if he's found a communication system that makes him half as eloquent as these gentlemen?
Peter Gwazdowskis, I made a film a number of years ago called Educating Peter. Yeah, some of you know that? Yes, okay, good. Peter, I then followed Peter, I picked up again and filmed him again through middle school and high school, which was kind of very depressing because he had this tremendous, he was finally at age 8, finally included in his neighborhood school. And that film was about what happened when he was included, what happened to Peter and what happened to his peers. When he went to middle school, it's like they forgot the IEP, they forgot the fact that this kid could read, and it was like he was treated as though he had no competence. And he had a lot of behaviors like eating paper and things like that. So I filmed that process through middle school and high school. Ultimately, in high school, finally, by the end, some of his peers kind of figured him out, and he then has gone on. He's 28 years old. He lives in Blacksburg. He works in the community, and he lives with some college students. He's beginning to communicate more again, but he had this kind of period where he didn't have that opportunity. The family actually did try to introduce typing to Peter, but there weren't the supports in that community. But that's not, he's 29 going on 30 now, so he's a young man, right, guys? Right? You're in your early, if you don't mind my saying so, early 50s, early 40s. So yeah. But yeah, it's a good question. Because people with other disabilities or different abilities, I prefer to say, have used typing. So anyway.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Douglas Bicklin, Jerry Wurtzberg, Larry Bissonette, Pascal, can't remember your last name. All right. Tracy Thresher, Harvey, once again, Lavoie, and Lee Grossman. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you all for coming out.